I'm Teresa Matic with the Investing News Network. Here with me today is Chris Berry of House Mountain Partners in the Disruptive Discoveries Journal. Chris, thank you for joining me today.
Thanks for having me.
Great. So we're coming up on halfway through the year. Any big surprises for you in the lithium space?
You've seen, I think, some upward price pressure, which I don't know if it's a surprise, but it's certainly welcome in light of what we've seen in the last couple of years in the whole commodity space overall. I'm finding that people are starting to get a lot more educated about the lithium space in particular. I find the lithium industry interesting because it's very small relative to, I think, the amount of press that it gets. Lithium is about $1 billion a year in revenue globally, and yet it seems like every time you open a newspaper, there's another story about a battery or a car or something like that. So I think it's exciting, and I think it's one of the reasons why investors are, looking more closely at this space.
Right, and as you said, there's a lot of excitement around battery growth, but in your most recent note, you cautioned investors not to forget about production costs. So why is that so important?
Well, again, production costs are the name of the game. I think one of the challenges or one of the pitfalls that you can fall prey to in the commodity space is assuming that the price of the commodity will continue to go up. I mean, we saw that happen between 2001 and 2011 for a whole host of commodities, and of course things have crashed since then. And so, because of a lot of the excess capacity and supply that was built up during the commodity super cycle, it's going to take time to work through that. In order to survive in this space, whether or not you're a junior or a near-term producer or a producer, you need to be able to show the absolute lowest cost of production, not to mention offtake agreements.
Right. That said, you've said the inflection point is coming in 2017. Tesla's certainly not the only game in town. There's mega factories coming in China. Are lithium companies going to be able to rise to the occasion to meet demand?
Well, there are a number of factors or issues that have to fall into place for that to happen. Obviously, in the junior space, the biggest problem right now is the financing. I think we're all in agreement that lithium demand is going to increase in coming years, whether or not it's 2016, 2017, 2020, who knows, but it is going in the right direction. Again, there's a little bit of a supply overhang right now based on my own estimates. It's going to take a couple of years to get through that, and so the crop of lithium juniors that can join this oligopoly, if you will, are going to have to find potentially creative ways to get finance from the CapEx perspective.
Okay, and what's it going to take to break that oligopoly? Is it possible?
It's possible if they have the lowest cost production. That's the name of the game. It's really that simple.
Okay, and looking at lithium-ion batteries again, there's some talk sometimes that another disruptive technology could come along and replace lithium-ion batteries. With all the commercial advantages lithium-ion batteries have, how likely is that, say, in the next 30 years or so?
In 30 years, it's somewhat likely. In the next, say, 5 to 10 years, it's very unlikely. I think one of the challenges when you look at the lithium space in general or the battery space is you have a whole host of different chemistries. Nickel, cobalt, aluminum, nickel, metal, hydra. I mean, it's all kinds of different chemistries, right? And so, the key now is trying to, I think, forecast, what type of chemistry is going to work for a different type of end use. Right now, obviously, the vehicles are the name of the game, and lithium really has a stranglehold on it. I don't think any other type of battery will take over lithium-ion anytime in the next 10 years.
Okay, and kind of in the same vein, some of your more recent talks have shifted to talking a lot more about disruptive technologies than about the energy metals. What's the reasoning behind that?
Again, the rationale has to do with finding ways to lower overall costs. You've seen other industries embrace technology to lower costs, increase production. It's all about productivity and scale, and you haven't really seen a lot of that in the mining space. I mean, I think the nearest sort of comparison would, of course, be fracking in the oil business. We've seen what that has done. There have been winners and losers, but generally speaking, my argument is instead of just going out there and looking for mining companies that have a great drill hole or something like that, you want to find behind those companies that are leveraging technology to lower overall costs. That's the new competitive advantage.
Even if they're very early stage still?
It's different strokes for different folks. The technology would have to be proved out, and typically it's proved out not so much by the junior company or the early stage company, but by a partner they may be leveraging the technology with. So that's another thing you want to think about, who a strategic advisor or a strategic partner might be for one of the juniors.
Okay. And finally, what lithium junior has your interest piqued right now, and why?
Well, it's a pretty small list, to be honest with you. I mean, I've been focusing more on the larger market caps, but that said, one of the companies that I have been following very closely for a long time is Lithium Americas, and it's for a lot of the reasons that I just mentioned. They have a relationship with POSCO, which is of course one of the largest steel producers in the world, and effectively, a lot of people already know this, but what they're trying to do is leverage this technology in the lithium space, the brine space, to lower the overall extraction costs and production costs, and also shorten the time to market. So, POSCO is spreading its bets, if you will, with some other companies as well, but they're pretty far along with Lithium Americas, and it's an interesting potential case study.
Okay, great. Thanks for that, Chris.
Thank you.
I'm Teresa Matic with the Investing News Network.